The moon, a journey through time. Close your eyes and let your mind wander back through the centuries, to a time when the world was vast and mysterious, when journeys took months instead of hours, and when a network of ancient paths connected civilizations that had never before touched. Setting the scene. But tonight, we're not traveling along earthly roads. Tonight, we're journeying to our closest celestial companion, a world that has watched over humanity since before we could even look up in wonder. The moon. That pale guardian in our night sky, hanging there at an average distance of 238,855 miles from Earth, closer to us than any other world in the cosmos. Let yourself relax as we explore this ancient companion, fact by fact, story by story. Fact 1. The Great Collision. Our story begins 4.5 billion years ago, in a solar system still finding its form. Earth was young, a molten world of fire and stone, when something catastrophic happened. A planet the size of Mars, which scientists have named Theia, came hurtling through space on a collision course with our world. Imagine it, the impact would have been beyond anything we can truly comprehend. When Theia struck Earth, it didn't simply crash and settle. Instead, it created an explosion of such magnitude that both worlds were partially vaporized. Chunks of both planets, massive pieces of Earth's mantle and Theia's core, were thrown into orbit around what remained of Earth. Fact 2. Birth in the debris. And here's where something beautiful happened in all that chaos. The debris from this cosmic catastrophe didn't just scatter into space. Within perhaps only a few hundred years, a mere blink in cosmic time, gravity pulled those fragments together. They danced and collided, merged and melted, slowly coalescing into a sphere. The moon was born from destruction, a child of two worlds. This is called the giant impact hypothesis, and it explains so much about our moon, why its composition is similar to Earth's mantle, why it has a relatively small core, why it's so different from the moons of other planets. Fact 3. A molten beginning. The newborn moon was nothing like the serene, cratered world we see today. Picture instead a globe of molten rock, a magma ocean that covered the entire surface. This ocean of liquid stone glowed red-hot in space, radiating heat out into the void. It took millions of years for this magma ocean to cool and solidify, forming the first lunar crust. As the lighter minerals floated to the top and the heavier ones sank, the moon began to develop layers, a crust, a mantle, and a small core deep within. Even today, that ancient differentiation tells the story of the moon's fiery birth. Fact 4. So much closer then. In those early days, if you could have stood on the young Earth and looked up, though there was no one yet to do so, the moon would have dominated the sky. It hung only about 15,000 miles away, compared to the nearly 239,000 miles that separate us today. It would have appeared 15 times larger than it does now, filling a significant portion of the heavens. The tides it created on Earth's molten surface would have been tremendous, and the Earth would have spun much faster. A day lasted only about 5 hours back then. The two worlds were locked in a much more intimate dance than they are today. Fact 5. The moon's wandering journey. But gravity is a patient force, and it had other plans. You see, the tidal forces between Earth and moon, that gravitational tug-of-war, has been gradually pushing the moon away from us ever since. Even now, as you listen to these words, the moon is drifting away at about 3.8 centimeters per year. It's imperceptibly slow, of course. You won't notice it in your lifetime, nor will your children, or their children. But over millions of years, it adds up. Scientists using laser reflectors left on the moon by Apollo astronauts can measure this drift with incredible precision. Billions of years from now, if Earth and Moon both endure, the Moon will be much farther away than it is today. Fact 6. A precious gift of stability. As the Moon settled into its orbit and Earth cooled, something remarkable happened, or rather, didn't happen. Earth's axis remained remarkably stable, tilted at about 23.5 degrees. This might not sound significant until you realize that without the Moon's gravitational influence, Earth's tilt would vary wildly over time. Mars, for example, has no large moon to stabilize it. Its axial tilt has varied from nearly 0 to 60 degrees over millions of years. Imagine what that does to climate, seasons that become unrecognizable, ice ages that consume entire hemispheres, making the development of complex life nearly impossible. The Moon gave Earth the gift of stability, and with that stability came predictable seasons, stable climates, and perhaps the very conditions necessary for life to flourish. Fact 7. The lunar size paradox. There's something else unusual about our Moon, its size relative to Earth. At about 1/4 of Earth's diameter, the Moon is the largest satellite relative to its planet in the solar system, if we exclude Pluto and Charon, which many consider a binary system rather than a planet and moon. Most moons are tiny compared to their planets. Phobos and Deimos circling Mars are little more than captured asteroids. Even Jupiter's mighty moons are dwarfed by their parent planet. But Earth and Moon are different. We're almost a double planet system, two worlds bound together, neither quite willing to let the other go. Fact 8. The dance of tidal locking. Over millions of years, something else happened in the gravitational embrace between Earth and Moon. The Moon's rotation began to slow, pulled and tugged by Earth's gravity acting on slight bulges in the lunar surface. Eventually, the Moon's rotation synchronized perfectly with its orbit. This is called tidal locking, and it means the Moon now takes exactly the same amount of time to rotate once on its axis as it does to orbit Earth once, about 27.3 days. The result? The Moon always shows us the same face. From Earth, we never see the far side naturally, not because it's dark, but because it's always turned away from us. Ancient peoples noticed this, of course. They saw the same patterns of dark and light Maria, those ancient lava plains, and created stories about the man in the moon, or the rabbit, or whatever shapes their cultures perceived in those eternal shadows and bright highlands.